Imagine standing on the edge of the world, just as the sun begins to bleed gold across the endless horizon. The air is cool, crisp against your skin, and for a fleeting moment, there is only silence. But listen closely. This is not an empty quiet. It is the held breath of the African safari, a grand theater of life that has been playing out for millennia, long before we ever walked this earth. Here, in the vast, untamed expanse of the Masai Mara and the Serengeti, beauty and brutality dance together in a rhythm as old as time itself. We often look at nature and see peace, but beneath the swaying grass lies a story written in survival, instinct, and sacrifice. From the thunderous, earth-shaking march of the Great Migration to the silent, watchful vigil of the Scavengers, every creature here plays a vital role in the circle of life. What does it truly take to survive in a land where every sunrise promises a new beginning, but also a new danger? Today we invite you to step beyond the postcard images and witness the raw, untold reality of true wildlife. Are you ready to see the world as it really is? As the morning mist lifts, a sound reverberates across the plains. A deep, guttural roar that can be heard up to 5 miles away. It is not just a noise, it is a proclamation. Here, in the heart of the African safari, the lion is king and his word is law. But heavy is the head that wears the crown. The lion is often perceived as a symbol of sheer brute force. Yet his true power lies in something far more intricate: family. Unlike most other big cats who walk a solitary path, lions are the only ones to form true social groups, known as prides. A pride is not merely a gathering, it is a dynasty. At the center of this dynasty stands the male, with his magnificent mane framing his face like a halo of gold and shadow. He appears invincible. The darkness of his mane often signals his health and vigor to rivals. A darker mane suggests higher testosterone and a more formidable opponent. He may spend up to 20 hours a day sleeping, conserving energy in the shade of an acacia tree. But do not mistake his stillness for laziness. He is the guardian. His duty is to protect the territory from intruders and rival males who seek to usurp his throne and kill his offspring. Being one of the top predators in this unforgiving landscape requires a constant, exhausting vigilance. While the male secures the borders, the soul of the pride resides in the females. The lionesses are the hunters, the mothers, and the true leaders of the family unit. They are smaller, faster, and more agile than the males, working together with a synchronized intelligence that rivals any human military operation. Watch them as they stalk through the tall grass, their tawny coats blending perfectly with the scorched earth. They move as one fluid entity, communicating with subtle glances and flicks of the tail. In the world of wildlife, cooperation is the ultimate survival strategy. When they hunt, they do not rely on speed alone, but on strategy. They fan out, flanking their target, perhaps a herd of wildebeest or a sturdy buffalo, cutting off escape routes before launching an ambush. It is a violent, chaotic ballet of dust and claws. Yet, despite their prowess, the majority of their hunts end in failure. This harsh reality makes every successful kill precious. But the pride is also a place of tenderness. Amidst the violence of their existence, there is profound affection. Cubs tumble over their father's massive paws, learning the skills they will one day need to survive. These young ones are the future of the pride, but their safety is fragile. In the brutal calculus of the African safari, dominance is never permanent. A king only rules as long as he can fight. And when the sun sets, casting long shadows over the savanna, the lion's reign continues, a testament to the enduring power of unity in the face of a hostile world. As the sun climbs higher and the shadows retreat, a different sound pierces the air of the Masai Mara. It is not a roar, but a strange, high-pitched whoop, sometimes escalating into what sounds like manic laughter. This is the call of the spotted hyena, perhaps the most misunderstood character in the entire cast of wildlife. For generations, stories and films have painted them as cowardly villains, lurking in the shadows to steal scraps from noble lions. But the truth, as is often the case in nature, is far more compelling. If you look past the sloping back and the scruffy fur, you will find an animal of remarkable intelligence and complexity. In the world of the hyena, it is the females who rule. They are larger, more aggressive, and hold the highest rank in their society, known as a clan. A clan can consist of up to 80 members, functioning with a strict hierarchy that would rival the royal courts of old Europe. At the top sits the matriarch, a queen whose authority is absolute. Her status determines the rank of her cubs, who inherit her privileges from birth. It is a society built on alliances, social maneuvering, and deep family bonds. We often label them as mere scavengers, believing they only eat what others have killed. While they are indeed nature's most efficient cleanup crew, capable of digesting skin and bone that would sicken other animals, this label ignores their prowess as hunters. Studies in the African safari have shown that hyenas kill up to 95% of their own food. They are not lurking thieves, they are endurance athletes. Unlike the big cats that rely on explosive speed and surprise, hyenas rely on stamina. They can run for miles without tiring, wearing down their prey with a relentless, terrifying persistence. When a pack of hyenas sets its sights on a target, the outcome is almost inevitable. Their physical design is a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Those powerful jaws are among the strongest in the animal kingdom, capable of exerting over 1,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. This allows them to crush the leg bones of a buffalo as easily as we might snap a twig. This ability serves a crucial purpose by consuming the remains of carcasses completely. They prevent the spread of disease, keeping the savanna healthy for everyone else. Yet, despite their strength and intelligence, they live a life of constant conflict. Their rivalry with lions is legendary, a war over territory and food that has lasted for eons. It is a brutal existence, but one they face with a strange, resilient charisma. Watch a hyena mother with her cubs at the den, and you will see a gentler side, nuzzling, playing, and protecting her young with a fierce devotion. So, the next time you hear that eerie laughter echoing in the twilight, do not dismiss it as the sound of a villain. Instead, recognize it as the voice of a survivor, a creature that has mastered the art of living in one of the harshest environments on Earth. They remind us that in nature, beauty is not just about physical appearance. It is about the ability to adapt, to endure, and to thrive against the odds. While the drama of life and death plays out heavily on the dusty ground, the sky above the African safari tells a different story, one of vibrant color and breathtaking elegance. It is easy to be captivated solely by the giants of the plains, but to ignore the avian world here is to miss half the magic. In the Masai Mara alone, there are over 450 bird species, each a living brushstroke on nature's canvas. First, your eyes catch a flash of brilliance darting between the thorn bushes. It is the lilac-breasted roller, often called the jewel of the savanna. With a chest painted in soft violet and wings that explode into turquoise and royal blue when in flight, it seems almost too beautiful to be real. But do not let its delicate appearance fool you. This bird is a fierce guardian of its perch. Watch how it sits high atop an acacia branch, surveying the land like a monarch. When it spots an insect or a small lizard, it dives with the precision of a fighter jet. For many travelers, spotting this kaleidoscope of feathers is a moment of pure joy, a reminder that nature invests as much care in the small and beautiful as it does in the large and powerful. On the ground, striding with the dignity of a royal scribe, walks the secretary bird. Standing over 4 feet tall, it is an eagle that has decided to conquer the earth rather than the sky. With its long crane-like legs and a crest of black feathers fanning out behind its head like quill pins tucked behind an ear, it cuts a striking silhouette. But this elegance conceals a deadly talent. The secretary bird is a serpent hunter. When it confronts a snake, even a venomous cobra does not peck. It stomps. With a kick force 5 times its body weight, delivered in the blink of an eye, it neutralizes danger before the victim can strike back. It is a masterclass in precision, proving that grace and lethality often walk hand in hand. And then, near the marshlands, we witness a performance of pure romance. The gray-crowned crane, with its golden stiff-feathered crest shimmering like a crown, is an icon of nobility. These birds are known for their lifelong bonds, a quality that resonates deeply with anyone who understands the value of enduring partnership. During the mating season, they engage in a spectacular dance. They bow, jump, and spread their wings in a synchronized rhythm, a ballet performed not for an audience, but for each other. Their haunting, trumpet-like calls echo across the wetlands, a soulful melody that celebrates life amidst the wilderness. These winged wonders add a layer of depth to the African safari. They remind us to look up, to pay attention to the details, and to appreciate that survival is not always about brute strength. Sometimes it is about speed, beauty, and the ability to dance in the rain. Leaving the Golden Plains behind, we travel west into the Great Rift Valley, where the earth has torn apart to create a chain of shimmering lakes. Here, at places like Lake Nakuru and Lake Bogoria, nature paints with a different palette. From a distance, it looks as though the water itself has blushed, turning a vibrant shade of cotton candy pink. But as you draw closer, the illusion resolves into life millions of lesser flamingos, gathering in numbers so vast they defy belief. This phenomenon is one of the greatest spectacles in all of wildlife. These birds are not born pink, they earn their color. They sift through the alkaline waters with upside-down beaks, filtering out spirulina, blue-green algae rich in pigments that gradually dye their feathers. They are creatures of community, moving in synchronized waves, head-bobbing and preening in a collective rhythm. It is a peaceful, almost hypnotic scene, a pink blizzard that feels like a dream. But in the wild, peace is often watched by hungry eyes. Perched high on the branch of a yellow-barked acacia overlooking the lake sits a sentinel, the African fish eagle. With a striking white head and chest, contrasting against a dark body, he bears a noble resemblance to the American bald eagle, a familiarity that warms the heart of many visitors. But make no mistake, this bird is the undisputed lord of the African waterways. His calla, distinctive, high-pitched cry that throws the head back is known as the voice of Africa. To hear it echo across the water is to feel the very soul of this continent. While the flamingos dance, the eagle waits. His vision is 8 times sharper than a human, allowing him to spot a ripple in the water from incredible distances. Suddenly, he drops. It is not a dive, but a calculated stoop, talons extended forward like grappling hooks. In a splash of spray, he snatches a tilapia from the surface without even wetting his feathers, returning to his perch with effortless grace. This juxtaposition defines the lake's ecosystem, the fragile beauty of the flamingos living alongside the lethal precision of the eagle. It is a delicate balance where nature provides for all. The algae for the birds, the fish for the eagle, and the breathtaking beauty for those lucky enough to witness it. It reminds us that every tranquil scene in the wild is maintained by a complex, underlying tension of survival. As we return to the woodlands bordering the Great Plains, the earth begins to tremble rhythmically. Emerging from the dust like ancient statues brought to life are the African elephants, the true gardeners of the African safari. To stand in the presence of an elephant is to feel a profound sense of humility. Weighing up to 6 tons, they are the largest land animals on earth. Yet they move with a quiet, deliberate grace that belies their size. But it is not their size that captures the heart. It is their soul. Elephants are creatures of deep emotion and incredible intellect. They live in close-knit families, led not by the strongest male, but by the wisest female, the matriarch. She is usually the oldest, the grandmother of the herd, and she holds the library of their survival in her mind. She knows where the water lies during the harshest droughts, remembering trails walked decades ago by her own mother. In a world of shifting seasons, her memory is the difference between life and death for the entire family. This reverence for elders and their wisdom is something that resonates deeply with us all. Watch how they interact. Their trunks, containing over 40,000 muscles, are sensitive enough to pick up a single blade of grass, yet strong enough to rip down a tree. They use them to caress one another, to reassure a frightened calf, or to greet a returning friend. These bonds of affection are unbreakable. When a calf is born, the entire herd celebrates, trumpeting and touching the newborn, welcoming it into the fold. And when a member of the family passes, they grieve. They have been known to stand vigil over the bodies of their dead, gently touching the bones with their trunks in silence, as if remembering who that individual was. It is a moment of pure, heartbreaking humanity in the wild. Their impact on the landscape is immense. As they move, they push over trees and trample bushes, opening up the thickets. While this might look destructive, it is actually a vital act of creation. By clearing space, they allow sunlight to reach the ground, encouraging new grass to grow, which in turn feeds the zebras and gazelles. They dig water holes in dry riverbeds that sustain other species. In the truest sense, they are the stewards of the land, maintaining the delicate balance of the circle of life. However, these gentle giants face a world that is shrinking around them. Their ivory, meant to be tools for survival, has made them targets of greed. Yet here in the protected sanctuaries, they walk with a dignity that demands our respect. They remind us that wisdom, memory, and love are not unique to humans. They are the universal language of sentient beings. While the elephant commands respect through wisdom, other giants of the African safari command it through sheer, unadulterated power. In the sanctuary of Lake Nakuru, we encounter a creature that looks like a refugee from the Jurassic era, the white rhinoceros. Despite their name, they are not white, but slate gray. They are built like living tanks, weighing over 2 tons, with a thick armor-like skin and 2 horns made of keratin, the same material as our hair and fingernails. To see a rhino in the wild is a privilege that is becoming heartbreakingly rare. They are generally peaceful grazers, keeping their broad heads low to mow the grass like massive lawnmowers. However, their eyesight is poor. They live in a world of smells and sounds. If startled, a rhino's instinct is not to analyze, but to charge. And when a 2-ton locomotive decides to charge, nothing stands in its way. Their survival is a testament to conservation efforts, a fragile victory in the war against poaching that we must continue to fight. But if the rhino is the tank of the plains, the hippopotamus is the deceptive monster of the waterways. During the day, you will see them submerged in pools, looking like oversized, lazy sausages, occasionally yawning to reveal comical pink mouths. They seem harmless, even cute, but do not be fooled. The hippo is widely considered the most dangerous large land mammal in Africa. They are fiercely territorial. That yawn is actually a threat display, showcasing razor-sharp tusks that can grow up to 20 inches long. They may look clumsy, but on land, a hippo can outrun a human with terrifying speed. They spend their days protecting their sensitive skin from the blistering sun, secreting a natural red oil often called blood sweat that acts as a sunscreen and antibiotic, and their nights grazing miles inland. Woe betide anyone who finds themselves between a hippo and the safety of deep water. Completing this triad of power is the Cape buffalo, often referred to as the Black Death by hunters of old. They are the mobsters of the savanna, with heavy boss horns that fuse across the forehead like a riot helmet and a gaze that seems to judge you. They are intimidating beasts. Buffalo do not forgive, and they do not forget. Unlike other herbivores that run from lions, buffalo will stand their ground. They form a defensive wall, horns facing outward, shielding the calves in the center. In fact, buffalo are one of the few animals that will proactively track and kill lion cubs to reduce future threats. It is a brutal, preemptive strike. Even a pride of lions thinks twice before attacking a healthy herd. These heavyweights remind us that in the world of wildlife, the line between predator and prey is often blurred by raw power and aggression. In the vast theater of the Masai Mara, survival is a game of strategy, and no 2 players demonstrate this better than the spotted cats, the leopard, and the cheetah. Though they may look similar to the untrained eye, they are masterpieces of 2 completely different evolutionary designs. First, let us seek the ghost of the trees, the leopard. Of all the big predators, the leopard is the most elusive. They are masters of invisibility. Their coat, patterned with rosettes that mimic the shifting shadows of leaves, allows them to vanish in plain sight. A leopard does not chase, it stalks. It is a creature of infinite patience, willing to inch forward on its belly for hours, waiting for the perfect moment when the distance is closed to a mere whisper. But their strength is as impressive as their stealth. Pound for pound, the leopard is the strongest climber in Africa. After making a kill, they perform a feat of strength that defies gravity, hauling a carcass that may weigh twice their own body weight straight up a vertical tree trunk. Why? To keep their hard-earned meal safe from the prying noses of lions and hyenas. Up in the canopy, draped over a branch, they can eat in peace, rulers of their own solitary kingdom. Contrast: the cheetah has no interest in hiding in trees. It is built for the open ground, engineered for one singular purpose: speed. If the leopard is a wrestler, the cheetah is a Formula One race car. With a slender body, deep chest, and semi-retractable claws that act like running spikes, it is the fastest land animal on the planet. Watch one as it spots a gazelle. It does not crouch for hours. It calculates. When it launches, the acceleration is terrifying. From 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. Faster than most sports cars. During the chase, its head remains perfectly still while its body flexes and extends, and its long tail acts as a rudder, allowing it to turn sharp corners without losing balance. However, this speed comes at a high price. The cheetah is fragile. It cannot fight. It overheats quickly. After a sprint, it is exhausted and vulnerable. This is why you will often see them hunting in the heat of the midday sun, a time when lions and leopards are sleeping, to minimize the risk of having their kill stolen. Look closely at a cheetah's face, and you will see black tear marks running from their eyes to their mouth. These are not for decoration. They absorb the glare of the sun, allowing the cheetah to focus laser-like on its prey. Whether through the silent ambush of the leopard or the explosive sprint of the cheetah, the African safari showcases nature's endless creativity in the art of the hunt. If you were to place a bet on the most successful hunter in the African safari, you might put your money on the lion or the leopard. You would be wrong. The title belongs to a creature often overlooked, yet one that embodies the absolute pinnacle of teamwork: the African wild dog, also known as the painted wolf. Their scientific name, Lycaon pictus, means painted wolf, and it fits them perfectly. Their coats are a chaotic, beautiful patchwork of gold, black, and white. No two individuals share the same pattern, but while their markings are unique, their minds operate as a singular consciousness. They are the most efficient predators on the continent, with a hunt success rate of over 80, dwarfing the lion's meager 30. How do they achieve this? They do not rely on stealth or ambush. They run. They possess an endurance that is terrifying to their prey. When a pack targets a gazelle, they engage in a relay race of death. As the lead dog tires, another surges forward to take its place, keeping the pressure relentless until the prey simply collapses from exhaustion. It is a strategy that relies entirely on trust. Every member knows its role and executes it without hesitation. But it is not their efficiency that captures the heart. It is their compassion. In a world where survival of the fittest is the golden rule, African wild dogs are the rebels. In a lion pride, the dominant males eat first, often leaving the cubs to starve if food is scarce. But among the painted wolves, the rules are flipped. When the hunting party returns to the den, they regurgitate meat to feed the pups, the nursing mothers, and most touchingly, the old, sick, or injured members who could not join the hunt. They never leave a family member behind. If a dog is injured, the pack slows down. They wait. They share. This profound sense of community is rare in wildlife. They communicate constantly with bird-like chirps and twitters, reinforcing their bonds before every hunt with a rallia chaotic greeting ceremony of licking and jumping that looks like a pre-game pep talk. Sadly, these incredible animals are critically endangered, squeezed out by human expansion and diseases from domestic dogs. Seeing a pack in the wild today is a fleeting, precious gift. They serve as a poignant reminder that even in the harshest environments, cooperation and kindness are legitimate survival strategies. They teach us that true strength does not come from standing alone, but from lifting each other up. As the dry season tightens its grip on the southern plains, the grass turns brittle and yellow. The water holes shrink into muddy puddles. It is then that a collective restlessness begins to stir. Millions of hooves start to shuffle in the dust, driven by an ancient biological clock that ticks in sync with the rains. This is the prelude to the Great Migration, the largest overland movement of mammals on Earth. The cast of this epic journey is led by two very different characters. First, the blue wildebeest. To the human eye, the wildebeest is an odd creature. It has the head of an ox, the mane of a horse, and the spindly legs of an antelope. Folklore says it looks like it was assembled by a committee from leftover spare parts. But do not underestimate them. They are biological machines built for endurance. They can march for endless miles, their bodies designed to conserve energy and water. Walking alongside them is the zebra. With their dazzling black and white stripes, they seem too conspicuous for a world full of predators. Yet, those stripes are a masterpiece of confusion when a herd moves together. The optical illusion makes it nearly impossible for a lion to single out an individual. But the zebra brings something else to this partnership: memory. They have excellent eyesight and a remarkable ability to remember migration routes from years past. They are the navigators of this vast army. Why do these two species travel together? It is not just for company. It is a perfect culinary partnership. Zebras possess a digestive system that allows them to eat the tough, tall, fibrous tops of the grass that other animals cannot stomach. As they mow down the tall grass, they expose the shorter, more nutritious green shoots underneath, the exact food that the wildebeest craves. The zebra prepares the table, and the wildebeest follows to feast. It is a relationship built on mutual benefit. The zebra provides the navigation and clears the path. The wildebeest provides the sheer safety of numbers. Together, they form a column of life stretching for miles, a noisy, dusty, moving city of nearly 2 million souls. They are not just running away from drought. They are chasing the scent of rain, guided by the promise of greener pastures in the north. As they move across the Serengeti, they are constantly watched. Lions, cheetahs, and hyenas trail the herds like shadows, picking off the weak, the old, and the careless. But the herd moves on, a relentless river of muscle and instinct, bound for the most dangerous obstacle of their lives, the border of the Masai Mara. As July arrives, the horizon of the Masai Mara undergoes a terrifying and magnificent transformation. First, you see the dust-a massive, choking cloud rising thousands of feet into the air, turning the blue sky into a haze of orange and gray. Then you hear the sound. It starts as a low hum, like a distant freight train, before swelling into a deafening chorus of grunts, bleats, and thundering hooves. The Great Migration has arrived. From the Serengeti in the south, they pour in a living flood of black and gray hides spreading across the Golden Hills. It is a spectacle of sheer numbers that defies mathematics. To stand amidst this swarm is to feel the overwhelming force of life itself. But this unstoppable force is about to meet an immovable object. Cutting through the landscape like a scar is the Mara River. In the dry season, it is the lifeblood of the ecosystem, but right now, it is a barrier of death. The herds gather at the high banks, staring down at the swirling brown water. You can feel the tension in the air. It is palpable, thick enough to taste. The animals are nervous. They pace back and forth, milling in confusion, driven forward by the hunger in their bellies, but held back by the fear in their hearts. They know what waits in that water. Behind them, the pressure builds. More and more animals arrive every hour, pushing the ones at the front closer to the edge. It is a crushing tide of flesh. The lions and leopards of the Masai Mara know this game well. They shadow the periphery of the mega herd, waiting for the chaos to present an opportunity. The wildebeest are trapped between the jaws of the predators behind and the unknown depths below. This is the psychological breaking point of the migration. It is a waiting game. Who will be the first to jump? Who will be brave enough or desperate enough to take that first fatal leap? The river flows on, indifferent to their plight, hiding its secrets beneath the murky surface. The stage is set for the most dramatic event in the African safari calendar. Suddenly, the tension snaps, whether driven by a surge of adrenaline or simply pushed by the crushing weight of the herd behind. One single wildebeest takes the lead. It hits the water with a splash that acts like a starting gun. Instantly, the banks of the river explode into chaos. Thousands follow, sliding down the steep, slippery cliffs, tumbling over one another in a frantic, dusty avalanche of flesh and bone. The legendary Mara River crossing has begun. The water boils with thrashing bodies. It is a cacophony of panic. The bellowing calls of separated calves, the violent splashing of hooves, and the dull thud of bodies hitting rocks. They swim with desperate energy, eyes wide with primal terror, aiming for the opposite bank. But beneath the murky brown surface, the river's true masters have awakened, the Nile crocodile. These are not the sluggish reptiles seen in zoos. These are prehistoric giants, growing up to 16 feet long and weighing nearly a ton. They're armored dinosaurs that have survived mass extinctions, and they have waited an entire year for this specific moment. They drift through the water like logs, silent and invisible, until the trap is sprung. With terrifying speed, the water erupts. Steel-trapped jaws clamp onto a leg or a neck with a sound like a cracking branch. The power is absolute. The crocodile drags its victim under, performing the infamous death roll to disorient and drown the prey. For the wildebeest, it is a cruel, abrupt end to a 1,000-mile journey. For the crocodile, it is survival, a single meal that must sustain it for months to come. Yet, amidst the carnage, there is incredible resilience. Watch a zebra mother fighting the current, using her body to shield her foal from the snapping jaws. See the wildebeest scrambling over the backs of their fallen comrades, driven by a singular will to live. Many will not make it. Their bodies will drift downstream, casualties of the migration. But the majority, the strong, the lucky, claw their way up the muddy slopes of the far bank. Wet, exhausted, and shivering, they step onto the lush green grass of the Masai Mara. They have won the gamble. This is the circle of life in its most violent and undeniable form. It is hard to watch. It tugs at our hearts. But nature does not deal in fairness. It deals in balance. The river takes its toll, but it also gives life to those who dare to cross. As the dust settles and the survivors vanish into the green horizon, a haunting silence falls over the banks of the Mara River. The water flows red, and the shore is littered with the bodies of those who did not make it. To human eyes, this scene might look like a tragedy, a waste of life. But in the African safari, there is no such thing as waste. Death here is simply an invitation for new life to begin. From the sky, they descend. They have been circling patiently in the thermals, watching the drama unfold from thousands of feet above. The vultures. While often reviled as harbingers of doom, they are in fact the unsung heroes of this ecosystem. Watch the hierarchy at play. The massive, lappet-faced vulture, with its powerful beak, lands first. It is the only bird strong enough to tear open the tough hide of a wildebeest carcass. It acts as the key, unlocking the meal for everyone else. Once the skin is breached, the smaller Ruppel's griffin vultures swarm in, cleaning the bones with surgical precision. Standing on the sidelines like a somber undertaker is the marabou stork. With its cloak-like wings and bald, spotted head, it cuts a grim figure. It waits for the scraps, bullying smaller birds with its sheer size. It is a grotesque yet fascinating display of nature's efficiency. Consider this. If these bodies were left to rot in the tropical sun, they would become breeding grounds for deadly bacteria like anthrax and botulism, which could poison the water and kill thousands more animals, including humans. But the scavengers prevent this. Their highly acidic stomachs can neutralize the deadliest of pathogens. They are the immune system of the savanna, scrubbing the landscape clean and preventing the spread of plague. In a matter of hours, a carcass that weighed hundreds of pounds is reduced to a clean, white skeleton. Nothing is left behind. It is a messy, noisy, and chaotic business, but it is also a vital service. Without these winged janitors, the circle of life would grind to a halt, choked by its own decay. They teach us that in nature, even the unloveliest creatures have a beautiful purpose. Weeks pass. The chaotic noise of the crossing has faded, replaced by the whispering wind. The river flows quietly once more, washing away the stain of red. On the riverbanks, scattered among the wildflowers, lie the white, sun-bleached bones of the fallen. To the casual observer, these are symbols of loss. But look closer. In the African safari, nothing ends, it only changes form. The bones that remain are rich in calcium and phosphorus, essential minerals that the soil desperately craves. Over time, insects, bacteria, and the weathering of the sun and rain break these structures down. They dissolve into the earth, enriching the soil with a potency that no artificial fertilizer could match. When the rains return next season, something miraculous happens. The grass here grows greener, taller, and sweeter than anywhere else on the plains. It is a garden of life sprung from the seeds of death. And who will eat this lush, nutrient-rich grass? It will be the calves of the survivors. The young wildebeest born in the safety of the South will return here. They will graze on the very land where their ancestors fell, absorbing the nutrients of those who came before them to build their own strength. In this way, the dead literally feed the living. The sacrifice of one generation ensures the survival of the next. This is the true meaning of the nature's cycle. It is not a hierarchy where the strong simply crush the weak. It is a loop, a continuous, infinite exchange of energy. The lion eats the antelope. The lion dies and becomes grass. The antelope eats the grass. Every creature, from the mightiest elephant to the smallest beetle, is bound together in this sacred contract. Understanding this brings a sense of peace. In the wild, there is no finality, only transformation. As the great golden orb of the sun finally dips below the horizon, painting the sky in bruised purples and fiery oranges, the African safari begins to settle into the embrace of the night. The roar of the lion fades into the distance. The dust of the great migration settles, and the birds return to their roosts. We have witnessed a day in the life of this ancient land, from the tender affection of an elephant mother to the brutal determination of a hunting crocodile, from the soaring hope of a bird in flight to the silent service of the vulture. What we have seen is not just a collection of animals fighting to survive. It is a mirror. It reflects the raw, unpolished truth of existence. In the resilience of the wildebeest, we see our own struggles to move forward. In the wisdom of the elephant, we see the value of family and memory. In the circle of life, we find a comforting rhythm, a promise that life always finds a way to continue, even after the darkest of storms. But this world, as timeless as it feels, is also incredibly fragile. The wilderness is shrinking. The voices of the wild are growing quieter. We are the first generation to truly understand the impact of our actions on nature, and we may be the last generation with the chance to save it. These stories, these magnificent creatures, are the legacy we leave behind. They are the treasures we must guard, not for ourselves, but for our children and our grandchildren, so that they too may one day stand under this vast sky and feel the earth tremble beneath the feet of giants. Thank you for taking this journey with us. It is a privilege to share the wonders of wildlife with a community that appreciates the depth and beauty of our natural world. If this story touched your heart or reminded you of the beauty of our planet, please take a moment to click the subscribe button and ring the bell. Join our community of nature lovers and tell us in the comments below which animal story resonated with you the most today. Was it the bravery of the wildebeest or the loyalty of the wild dog? We read every comment and cherish your stories. Until next time, keep looking closer, keep listening, and never lose your sense of wonder. Goodbye, and may the spirit of the wild be with you.